Hello, everybody, and welcome back to part 5 of Let's Build the Perfect Grade Strike Rogue. So what we'll be doing today is the arm and shoulder unit, because the shoulder unit is a very small portion of it. Like, it only takes up, that's all the shoulder part right there. So I figured I might as well combine the two, and because they were times 2, I was able to do the arm and the shoulder ahead of time. Now, last time we did this, the torso, and as you can see, since then I've added on the decals. Not many, which is always nice, but just enough to make it very fancy. And my Strike Rogue is the one that you're seeing the feet of right now, because I'm currently watching the Gundam Seed English dub. And I will mention this ahead of time, because people who are going through it in the order of the instruction booklet should already know that we should have already done the head unit, all the weapons, and the shield. I'm not going to be doing it by the instruction book. I'm going to wait till the very end to do this, to do all the shield and weapons and head. So that'll be the final part before the final put together. So, that being said, let's run through the runners that you'll need. You'll need runner B. You'll notice a lot of them are going to be pretty empty this time. Runner H. And I'm assuming all these parts are going to be for the head, so. Sorry about that, bumped the camera there. Both C runners, which are now completely empty. Both K runners that are now completely empty. Both D runners that are both completely empty. The R runner, which has the hands and the 2 blades and the mask still. Well, not the hands, but 2 N runners. Both T runners, which are now unfortunately both empty. I'm not too happy about that, because then that means that there will be no polycaps in either one of the backpack or the Ale Strike or the Sky Grasper. So, unless, well, I guess these 2 polycaps, but that's about 3 polycaps, but that's about it. Unfortunately, the S runner, which is polycaps, and the O runner, which now just has the massive blade on it. So, without any further ado here, or any further delaying here, let's start working on the shoulder. Here. That works out better for me. So we'll take this kind of flat part here, and we'll take this weird part with 4 pegs on it, And with these two pegs facing upwards, and you can see a peg here, that'll just line up with that hole right there, just like that. And then we'll take this fancy cover piece, put it right on there, just like that. Now we can place this down for a second. And alright, so we can take this poly cap, and with the side with the two kind of ledges here on the outside and at the bottom, just slide it right into there as I throw it on the ground. Gonna upgrade up lighting for you guys. That's probably a bit better. And this little piece goes way up here, just like that. And then this one right back there. And as you can see, they are pretty stable in there, and that's what you should end up with. Oh yeah, and this with all the fancy stuff on the outside, just like that. Then we'll take the other half and lining up everything. Just be patient and just fill around with it until you think you get it. And it should look something like this. Okay, and we're going to put that down for a second here. Now, these two are two outer armor parts. This weird looking part has a little weird opening here that we just need to line up. Until it's secure, just like this here. We're gonna do the exact same thing over here. Just solidly push it down. Make sure it's in nice and secure. And then with this kind of slot here, we're going to put it right onto a little peg that's right up in here. Just like that. And we're going to do the exact same thing to this other side. And that's why you got to make sure that it's nice and securely on. This is one area where if you have the ability to, and if you want it to do this kind of stuff, I would recommend glue here. But just because it's more stable, I'm going to do the next step right here. just because, as you saw there, these fall off really easily. And then we'll take this part, stick it right up into that polycap up at the top. I'm guessing it's just a cover. We'll find out more about it later, I'm guessing. And to finish off this, we're going to line up this peg with this little part here. And we're going to push it all the way down. Now, you'll see how there's a peg with a little extender part on it. I have to line that up with a groove right in here. And then with the other side, once you close it up, that actually closes that part completely together. And also, finishes up the shoulder. Now I just panel lined that just so then it'll look coherent with the other side and not so much a seam line. So that is literally the shoulder done. Now that would have been this part over if I hadn't gone ahead and done everything for the arms as well, as you can see here. Now there's a whole bunch of parts, but this is all very simple. So take this, stick it onto one side of the polycap, take this other half, stick it onto the other half, and making sure that those tiny little pegs line up with a little hole right there, right along that seam line, or else it won't close properly. And because of these two pegs here, you can't actually physically go in that way. You can only go in like this. And then we'll take this other half, close it up, and we'll put this all off to the side because we don't need it till the very end. Just give me 3 seconds. Okay. So we have this weird looking part here with a little groove down it with a peg in it. This one, this side here, we're going to stick into the back of this one. Now, 2 things to remember. So there's a flat side and this side that has a couple ridges on it. So we want this side with a couple ridges up. And for this part, we want this weird looking thing, extra peg looking thing. This facing downwards, yes. And slide that part right on in. snap together, make a hinge. Now this part comes in 2 halves, so I'm going to do this half first. So it can only fit up in that hole there. I'm going to take this other half, close it all up, making sure that's nice and secure. To make a weird looking thing. Put that down there for a second. Now let me just see which side. Alright, so this little square polycap will go into its spot down here. This one again with actually this time the opposite, so you want a little gap, so it'll look like that. Next we'll take the part that we just completed and we'll stick all using this little peg here in that little hole there. To look something like that there. And then we take this other half and close it up. And we'll put that down just for a second here. There we go. So for this part, again, you'll take this little square, but this time it has a little peg on it. So it can only go in one direction. Just like that there. Take this other half and close it all up. Make sure it's nice and securely put together. Now, you'll notice how there's this little ridge kind of deal right by that square. I'm going to make sure that that's towards this hole here. Is that right? Just tell me that was right. Yeah. And then we'll take this whole assembly, just lining it all up. So it'll look like that there. Next, we'll take this piece. Once I figure out which way it goes, there we go. And just stick it together. Make sure that's really well put together here. Just like this. And we get to put this assembly off to the side for a minute. Well, for quite a bit actually. So, next we'll take this funny looking part here. And this time, with this kind of almost Lego-ish piece here, we're going to stick it right onto the peg at the bottom here. So it'll look like this. And now making sure, actually, you can go ahead and put this part with the hole facing downwards this time. Right in there like that. And we can put this little polycap facing upwards, so the flat side is up, like this. We'll take this whole assembly and let me just reconfirm that. So with this very fancy part facing outwards, or towards this little gap here, I'm going to stick that right there. I'm going to take this half, line it up, and close it all. And we'll take this chrome piece, put it on the back into that spot there. Actually, there we go. And then for this piece here, you line up these holes with the chrome and this line with these side parts here. Just like that. Then we'll put this all off to the side for a minute again. Oh wait, sorry about that. I thought I was missing a part there. So first off is to put this little polycap on the end of the chrome piece, making sure that the rougher side of the chrome piece is facing towards the peg. And we'll take this part here and we'll put this rounded part, round end here, side here, towards outside. Next, we'll take this little part here with the square top, and we'll put it so then the square is facing upwards, just like that. And we'll have this little poly cap that we just did. Place it right there. This one can only fit in one way. But we're going to make sure that the fancier side is facing towards this side here. And we're also going to have this weird polycap with the two holes on the side, with the round end towards the top here, and the flat end towards the bottom. And we're going to take this other side and close it all up again. Whoa, that did not line up properly. 1 second here. Okay, there we go. So it'll look like this. Now we'll take this whole assembly, line up the chrome part with the hole here, and this plastic part with the little poly cap. So just like that there. Next, we need these two parts here. So with this flat end facing outwards, kind of have to manipulate it a little bit, but that's how it'll go. Then this one, let me just make sure, with this round end at the bottom, or the thinner side, so it'll look like that. We can actually close that all up right there, just like this. Now we're getting into the outer armor parts. So we'll take this fancy looking part and rotate it around until it just fits in, just like that. Next, we'll take this fancy part here, and with these kind of fins facing upwards, just going to snap in right there, as you heard there. Now this one is going to go like this. So this very thick part, the wider part, is going to go at the top, and it's going to go over on this side here. Come on. Is that right? Okay, let me just fix one thing here quickly. So this was wrong. This side is supposed to be on. Let me just confirm that with this part here. I always seem to make a mistake somewhere, but it's easy to fix. Just give me about a minute or two here. Okay, so as you can see, I flipped that part around. So make sure that the non-fancy part is facing outwards. So this is what you'll end up with. Next, we will take these parts and this time with the smooth side out, because this part has a bunch of lines and stuff in it. And stick it onto this special polycap, but make sure that this part here is lower than the holes at the top. That's pretty well the best way to describe it. Do the exact same thing to this side. So it'll end up something like this. And we'll slide it all into this hole right in here. And snap it onto this holder here. Let me just do that again to this one. So it'll look like this once it's done. Now we're putting on the finishing touches. Just give me a couple seconds here. My music is being dumb that I listen to when I'm building. I like to always have something going on. Or else I just would pretty well go crazy. Okay. So now we'll take these parts and just rotate them around until you find a spot where they fit. Just like that. They'll go on those weird triangle kind of things. Just like that. Then we'll put this to the side for a moment and bring back in this part. And with this part facing inwards, I'm going to take this part here with these kind of on an angle upwards. Right up there. And then we'll put this one with these two things at the bottom. Just like that. And we'll just put this all together. Just like that. Just making sure that it was all straight. Next, we're going to work on the hands. Now, this is a perfect grade hand before you do anything to it. I've cut it out, I've cleaned it up. So what I like to do is very carefully just slowly start bringing the top part down to the bottom, just like that. Then by one, each finger, work each joint in. Because if you just go to move it suddenly, it will break off. It will, basically what's in here is a little peg and a little hole that is not all the way through, so they're not secure on. So if you're a little bit too rough with it, it can pop out of that joint. And then once you do, it does, that compromises that whole finger. So as you can see, I'm just slowly working it in until it's nice and loose. And even with the thumb here, you gotta be, they are very, very tight sockets in there, so just gotta work it until it actually starts to freely move. And never force the finger to do something that it doesn't want to do. So that can also ruin the integrity. And if you do get something pop out, you can just pop it right back in. But just keep in mind that that finger will never be as strong as it was before. And make sure that you actually clean everything up. And it also, while you're doing this, gives you a chance to make sure, as you just saw there, that each finger is actually fully cleaned up. So next, even looking at your own hand, this meaty part is always towards the inside here. So that's this part here is towards the inside. So we can turn the thumb just like that. Now carefully, don't force it to go fast if it doesn't want to go fast. Just put steady pressure on these parts and they will move. Just make sure that every finger is in the correct spot. Now these are going to be the most common hands you see with perfect grades, but as you've seen with the Strike Freedom, that one has the ones where you take out the middle part and you snap it in, so that way you know it's already worked in pretty well. So this part we're going to secure the hand together. So this is the palm. So just line up the holes and it'll look like that. And also don't forget about this joint up here. There we go. Now with this one, you can kind of see a little rod there. Slot in just like that there. And then with this part facing towards the top of the hand, or the fingers, it's the only way it'll go. There we go. And just like that, the hand is completely sealed together. and each finger is worked in. So almost any hand position that you can do with your own hand while keeping your fingers straight, because you can't really cross them to cross these ones. Only cross it about that much there. But we're going to put this outer armor part towards this part here. And just like that, we have the hand. Now this next part, we're going to finish up all the armor. So we're going to put this part with these two fang looking things towards the bottom. Right up here. Just like that. We're going to take this part and put it over here. Just like that. This one. With these kind of notches and this arrow towards the top or towards the shoulder. And we can bring in this final part and towards the palm of the hand. There we go. Two arms. Two arms. Two shoulders. The torso. The side skirts. The waist unit. And both legs. So this is pretty well the Gundam laid out. If I were to put it all together right now, it would be put together except for the head and the backpack and the Sky Grasper. Which I believe, let me just check. The next part is going to be a long part. I will warn you of that right now. See. Yes, so we're going to work on the Sky Grasper. Cockpit and main body next time. Sorry about that. And if you are new here, I'd like to say thank you for watching all the way to this point. And if you're not new here, thank you as well for coming all the way, watching the video all the way through. And if you are new here, and if you like what you're seeing, subscribe for more content like this or the final builds that I always post up at the end of most of my builds. My most recent final build was my Master Grade Titanium Finish Gundam Unicorn. That is torso's coming off. So again, thank you all for watching. And don't forget to, if you like what you see, leave a like. If you don't like what you see, leave a dislike and explain why in the comment section down below. So thank you all again for watching, and until next time, remember to rock on.